Welcome to the Graybeard Chronicles podcast. Your hosts, Brian Halstead and Kevin Harkins, are two gray-bearded patriots who love God, their family and friends, and their country. The Graybeards are here to inspire, inform, and educate you on a myriad of topics they are passionate about. Brian and Kevin have a strong desire to share this with you to help you live your best life. Sit back and enjoy this amazing podcast as the Graybeards pass along the wisdom of the ages.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Graybeard Chronicles. I'm Brian Halstead.
And I'm Kevin Harkins.
And Kevin, we're here to pass along some wisdom of the ages. What the heck does that mean?
We're not perfect, but we do have gray beards. And that means we've got some significant life experience, some life lessons, and some perspectives that are worthy of passing along.
Well, I think that sums it up nicely. Let's get to it.
Kevin, what's going on, man?
Let's get to it. Excuse me. It's like it's the first time I'm talking for the day.
Yeah, a little scratchy there.
Yeah, all of a sudden. Allergies.
It is that time of year, man. Cars are all covered in pollen, Yeah, it's nasty out there.
It's also Easter Monday.
Beautiful. It's beautiful and nasty out there. Yes, it is.
Yep. So
beautiful Easter weekend, right?
Easter weekend, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And here we are. And if we were in Europe, we might be having a holiday today, but that's still very much a thing in many countries.
Yeah.
I mean, it
was for some people. It's not a national holiday here, but
right.
I know the schools were still out today.
Right.
Yeah.
I just know because I talked to somebody work related early this morning, and they were lamenting the fact that they were working today because it was Easter Monday.
Yeah.
So
how about Friday? Were they off Friday for Good Friday?
Totally don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
Gotcha. So what else is going on? What's new and exciting in your world?
Just here doing another podcast with you. And of all the podcasts we've done,
You sound very excited about that.
well, so we've
I'll
had.
give you a second to drum up some enthusiasm on that.
Well, this is the second week in a row that we kind of set new records.
Yeah, how's that?
So last week I was most uncertain, the most uncertain I'd ever been about what we were actually going to talk about.
Right.
And thank you. You picked another topic for this week, and that one just blew the old one away. This is like a completely whole new, like, record-breaking evolution for sure. Because
So what was your reaction when I sent you the title?
we could talk about anything having anything to do with humankind.
No, it's much more focused than that.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
It is not. There's no focus to it. Well, I might learn that there's focus to it, but
Well, there is in my mind.
okay.
Right.
That's why I can't wait for you to start this one, because I read it and I thought these three words, well, especially the last one, like we could talk about anything. Anyway,
Yeah.
why don't you tell us?
So I'm trying to think of the exact order that I put these in when I sent them to you, but I think I said it was either people, puzzles, in life, or puzzles,
Correct.
people, in life. But I
Correct.
think it was people,
People,
puzzles,
puzzles,
and
and
life. Yeah. I think those are all. You're right. I mean, technically, we could take those in a bunch of different directions. We could have detailed conversations about people, puzzles, or life. I think they all kind of are intermingled.
Of course.
And I think that what I wanted to talk about with this subject matter is the fact that your life is that puzzle, right? So if you think about a jigsaw puzzle that you get from wherever, and you see the scenery on the outside of the box, well, I think your life is like that jigsaw puzzle, but there's nothing on the box, right? So there's no picture, because that's your responsibility to create that picture. Now,
Okay.
all the pieces of the puzzle are inside that box, or we'll say, within the universe of possibilities for you. And now it's up to you to figure out what those individual pieces are by paying attention to your thoughts and your desires, things that drive you, and really understand what each individual piece of that puzzle may be as you progress through life and figure out where to put them. And I think what happens is And you're laughing because you're like, yeah, and you expected me to get that out of that title?
Exactly. You are making these leaps of logic and connection that are clearly
Right.
very clear in your head.
Right.
I can tell just by the way you're talking about it. But if you ask 10 people to tell you, what they thought it meant, I guarantee you all 10 would say something very different.
Well, I think this is the cool part is we're going to talk about people, puzzles, and life.
Right.
All in one, and we could do it
Right.
in any way. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of where this started for me. And so it actually what sparked it was just a short video that I saw Dakota Meyer do. And you know who I'm talking about there, right?
Mhm.
Marine Medal of Honor
Yep.
recipient. Just a squared away dude, right?
Yep.
So, and he's got a really solid grasp of life and how things all work together. And he was talking about how people are puzzle pieces in our lives, and that while we might get frustrated because they're not shaped like us, they don't necessarily look like us or act like us. We need to learn how to step back and change our perspective a little bit and understand the value that they bring to the table, right? Because you don't want to be surrounded by a room full of people like you in all circumstances.
Right.
Right. I mean, it's okay in certain things, but when you're going through this thing we call life and you're trying to navigate certain things, you don't need a bunch of people that all act and think and know exactly the same things that you do, because it's going to cause blind spots. And there's going to be things that you have no idea what to do. And you're going to need some of those people who are different shaped puzzle pieces to play the game with you and be involved in your puzzle of life. So imagine, your life being that big puzzle with all those pieces, and there's absolutely no scene on it at all. You get to paint it. It's just a blank canvas.
Okay. So your most recent description of that actually brought me a little closer to, I think, what you were thinking with the more context. And that's what I needed, was just a little bit of context to sort of orient me to the title. But the way I interpreted it, and there are many things, by the way, that you said that I liked a lot.
Right.
That I think you're right. We could spend multiple podcasts on any one of those things.
Right.
But I just thought, you start with people, and that they are puzzles, and those puzzles that they're trying to work out, are how you go through life, or something like that. That was the best I could come up with, which is kind of, at least in the right hemisphere. I won't say it's on the right target that you set up for yourself there, with the intention of keeping me completely in the dark. But that was successful. And
well, I don't know that keeping you in, that certainly wasn't my intent, keeping you in the dark.
I'm teasing
but what's funny is I do sometimes come up with titles to kind of I don't want to say, no, actually maybe not stump you necessarily,
right.
but just to see where you go with it.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely. All right. So here's one thing I want to talk about that I like very much what you said. And that is our lives, until we start getting inputs from all these different directions. You're right. It's a blank slate out there. It's just a blank slate. So it's like a puzzle that doesn't have any model to follow. And you have to personally, through your values and beliefs and experience and exposure to life, start putting those pieces of the puzzle into place for yourself, even still not knowing how it's all going to turn out.
Right.
I mean, you can have some objectives and some goals that are out there, but even those are not guaranteed. So it's fascinating. But I think if you wake up every day as a human, and you say, I don't know what else you'd wake up as.
I was going to say, are there
Right,
options here?
right. Maybe you identify as an alien. Who knows? I mean, we're kind of in that world right now. So you wake up and you just decide you are going to give this day your all and your best toward some sort of goal or objective that you're going to. If you do that day after day after day after day, you'll end up somewhere probably pretty good, as long as you have an idea where you want that to be. If you don't, if you're just sort of drifting and you wake up and you're just sort of doing whatever the day throws at you, you're probably not gonna.
Yeah.
I mean, you're gonna end up somewhere that A, you don't expect, B, you probably didn't want to go, and C, you regret that you didn't actually have some more focus.
Yeah. How many people have had the experience? Have you had the experience, even Kevin, of where you your life is like this jigsaw puzzle, and you've got a piece, and you so badly want to put it in this one spot right here. This is where it goes, and it's just not quite fitting because it's technically the wrong piece, but you're gonna make it fit. Damn it!
Oh,
and you make yourself miserable in the process trying to pound that freaking puzzle piece into a place that it doesn't go.
Yeah.
Yeah. How many times have we done that in our lives?
So many times, and on big issues,
Right.
really. I mean, you get so dug in
Yeah.
that you that is a puzzle. Okay, there's a
Right.
puzzle one.
Right. And how might things have changed if you took a step back and changed your perspective, looked at it from a different point of view?
Wow. Yeah. Oh my goodness, that's fascinating. It could be. You're right. It could be a personal relationship that
Right.
you've entered into that in your heart of hearts, this personal relationship is not good for me, but I'm going with it anyway. And then you get so far down that you feel like I can't stop this. It's going. So that's one way. Or maybe it's a decision to do a certain type of work. Sometimes this happens. This happens a lot. People are offered a promotion
Right.
in their workplace, and they take it immediately because they know that it's a promotion, it's more money, it's more authority and responsibility. But there are many jobs that you can promote into that are not well aligned with who you are.
Right.
And all of a sudden you find yourself in a position that you may not like, or probably worse, you may not be good at. And then that sends you down a path of, but you're like, no, I'm taking it. 100%. I'm taking it.
So I love that you brought that up, because I think that's a what I call a societal norm. I think
Okay.
there's an expectation created by society that that's what you're supposed to do.
Okay.
You're supposed to climb that ladder.
Right.
And why?
Yeah.
Maybe you don't want to.
Right.
Maybe you're completely satisfied performing what you're doing on a daily basis.
Yeah.
Because what'll happen if you don't stick to that and say, this is the part of the job. This is the job I came in here to do. You'll get sucked in to that climb the ladder mindset that I think our society at some point just decided that's the way it's supposed to be, right? And kind of encourages everyone to do that and looks down on people that don't. And you'll get sucked into that, and you'll end up in a place that you're up here 3 or 4 rungs on the ladder, and you're looking back down at the job you used to do, and you're just totally miserable in the one that you're in. And that was the career progression that traditionally you follow. What do you do when you find yourself in a scenario like that?
Yeah. I mean, everybody has to decide for themselves, but I've got a great example of that actual exact thing happening. And it was when I was early in my military career. I just graduated from the academy. I went to my first ship, and I ran into they don't exist anymore. They're called telephone technicians, TTs, old school stuff. And I know.
Are we potty training young men, or what are we doing here?
He was an E6,
Right.
first class petty officer. And when I started to get to know him, talk to him, he'd been an E6 for a long time. So I'm thinking, why not become officially in the senior enlisted ranks, make chief, become an E7, and start, rocking and rolling at the next senior rank? He goes, I want nothing to do with that. And I was really surprised. And I said, why not? You're so good at what you do. He goes, exactly.
Yep, that's it.
I love what I do. I love who I do it with. I love the amount of responsibility that I have. I don't want to be promoted ever again.
Right.
Which in the military, as you know,
That's a little odd. That's a little different circumstance.
That's frowned upon.
Mhm.
But you know what? He was the happiest guy on the ship.
Yeah. Should it be? That's a
Right.
great question.
Yeah.
Should it be frowned upon?
Right.
I think that's a shift in the mindset of our society and our military. And I mean, why should you?
Right.
I think I've heard this said before, the longer you stay affiliated with any organization or any job, the longer you stay there, the further away from what it was that actually drew you to that career field that initially, the further away from that you're going to get the longer you stay
Interesting.
there.
Okay. I can see that happening. I can also see the opposite happening, that people can grow into and enjoy what they're doing
Yeah.
even more. But you're right. I think there's a lot of people who get away from what drew them in. I mean, if the company, I think, is representing itself properly, hopefully what drew them in is keeping them there.
Yeah.
That's what I
Yeah,
would
true
think.
that.
Yeah. Anyway, so people, puzzles, and life. Yeah, it's life is a puzzle at times for sure. And
It's yeah, it absolutely is. It's I mean, I guess you could it is a game. I think life is a game.
yeah.
Because there's the ability to do, it's kind of a free-flowing game, right? Because you have the ability to manifest things that you want to do in your life, you want to
Mhm.
things you want to achieve. Um, and there's, that puzzle, that box full of puzzle pieces are the possibilities that are available to you.
Right.
And how do you that's a great question, right? So how do you engage in life when you're planning or exploring the possibilities? Do you leave all those puzzle pieces in the box
Mhm.
where they're all kind of just jumbled in there and some of them aren't visible, or do you spread them out and really explore what the possibilities might be for you by getting a better look and a better feel for what's available to you out there? Oh, that's an interesting way to think about that puzzle aspect of it, right? So I would encourage people to broaden your view on things.
Mhm.
Take those pieces out and see what you can make out of them. Don't leave them all jumbled in the box.
Yeah, I like what you said about that. Because the more exposure they have to those possibilities, the
Right.
better decisions they're going to make. That said, I think you do need to sort of, at some point, pick a direction that you want to head in, and pick something out there that you want to strive toward. Because if you're just kind of, you know, s- constantly responding to, oh, I can do this, and then I can do that, and then I can do that, and then maybe I can, at some point, you got to go, make a decision, and move to be most effective. If you're not interested in moving, if you just kind of want to drift, then then okay. I mean, that's okay. But you're probably not going to become the master of your domain.
I'm
Not
sure
really.
that, this just occurred to me. I'm sure there's actually research on this, and I didn't take it down this path, but I'm curious what information is out there about how you go about solving a jigsaw puzzle. So how do you do that? Do you throw all the
Tactics
pieces
and
out there?
techniques. Yeah.
Yeah. Or do you start on the edges? Do you get the border done first? Do you go by colors? Do you, I bet there's some interesting psychological information that could come out of how and behavioral information that could come out of how people attack a jigsaw puzzle.
That's interesting. You're right. That would, you bet. You, you should Google it tonight and find out what's the best way to solve
We'll be talking about that next week.
a jigsaw puzzle. I've not personally read that, and it's been a very long time that I've actually done a puzzle other than, I mean, when I say a long time, I mean like, I don't know, high school or something.
Right. Yeah, that was a long time ago.
That's when, that's when puzzle pieces were made of wood chips.
Right. Yeah, so life's a puzzle. People are the pieces potentially in that puzzle, right? You and others. And figure out how all that stuff works together,
Mm-hmm.
and value the different shapes and so on that other people bring to the process, and different ways of thinking. And man, it's a world full of endless possibilities.
It is, and I would like to add just one more thing to what you just said that popped to my mind when you said it. There's a line that I didn't make up, but I use all the time. Business is easy till you get people involved, and
Oh yeah, yeah.
and that's it. People
Yeah.
are not easy. People
Yeah.
are complicated and difficult and challenging and surprising and amazing, sort of. But it ain't easy. One thing you can't say is that people are easy.
No.
And so that's what creates the puzzle. And keeping it all together is takes a lot of work to do it right. So
Yeah.
and insert your life into there, and who you choose, who is your tribe, who do you hang out with, where are you headed in your life,
Yep.
who are you going to associate with in terms of close personal relationships. The puzzle, kind of.
Yeah. See, I think you're grasping this
Okay.
pretty solid,
All right.
right?
All
You
right.
get it, man. You
right.
understand what I'm saying
I got you.
with the whole people puzzles in life. I think you nailed it.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Well, I'm declaring victory on your topic, which was excellent.
Yeah. Thought provoking, I think.
Yes.
Very good. All right. Well, I'm ready.
I'm ready.
I'm ready to grab this piece of the puzzle over here and hit that button and say something like this. No matter who you are, where you are, what you're doing, make sure between this podcast and the next, you take time to enjoy the ride.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Graybeard Chronicles. Please subscribe so you'll receive notification when new episodes are available. To learn more about the Graybeards, visit their website, graybeardchronicles.com.